She cheated with the neighbor, then his father, and finally my best friend. That's when I stopped forgiving and started fighting back. My name is Marcus Wynn. I'm 35 years old. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood on the outskirts of Charlotte, North Carolina. There was a time when I woke up every morning grateful to have Vanessa by my side. She was the kind of woman who made you believe marriage was worth cherishing, gentle, refined, always filling our little home with soft music and the smell of freshly baked cookies. We'd been married for 7 years, long enough to know each other's habits, long enough to sense when someone was hiding something. Things started to change last summer. Blake, the new neighbor, moved in across the street at the corner of Magnolia. He was about 5 years younger than me, divorced, no kids, working from home in real estate. From the day Blake arrived, Vanessa suddenly took an interest in gardening. She started going over to his place every afternoon, carrying plant seedlings, a watering can, and sometimes a loaf of banana bread. When I asked, she just smiled. "He's newly divorced, probably needs a bit of cheer. I'm just watering his plants, that's all." I wanted to believe her, but my gut told me otherwise. One Saturday afternoon, I came home earlier than planned. Vanessa's car was still parked in front of Blake's house, even though she said she was going to the grocery store. I didn't make a scene. I just sat in my car 3 houses down and waited. 37 minutes. She walked out, loose-necked shirt, messy hair, and cheeks flushed in a way that wasn't from the sun. That night, I didn't say anything. I grilled the steaks as promised, poured the wine. But when she smiled and touched my hand, it didn't feel warm anymore. Only one thought lingered. Why did she lie? 3 days later, I saw a string of text pop up on her phone, left open on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping. I just happened to see. Next time, let's not wait for him to leave. I want you when I want you. You make me forget I'm married. I took a picture of the screen, said nothing. And that night, I lay next to the woman I'd loved for 7 years, listening to her steady breathing, wishing I'd never read those words. But I couldn't act out of anger. I'm the kind of man who chooses patience, who tries to hold a family together, like my father did, even when my mother didn't deserve it. The next day, I sat Vanessa down to talk. She cried, a lot, knelt down begging for forgiveness, said Blake meant nothing, that she was just weak, that she needed to feel desired, that I'd neglected her during months of working late on construction projects. I don't know if I softened because of her apology or because I was exhausted. But I forgave her. We went to marriage counseling. I stopped working weekends. I cut back on out-of-town projects. I tried. I tried so hard. And for a while, it seemed like things were getting back to normal. But I didn't know that Blake was just the first chapter in a book of betrayal written by my own wife. I thought that if we could survive the first pain, we could rebuild. But I didn't understand one thing. Someone who betrays you once, if they're not truly remorseful, will only get better at hiding it the next time. Vanessa started volunteering. She said she wanted to find herself, to give back to the community. And I supported that. I always thought a woman with a kind heart was a strong woman. She signed up to volunteer at a local senior care center, introduced by Blake because his father was there recovering from knee surgery. At first I didn't think much of it, until one day I drove by the center to drop off a jacket for Vanessa because the weather turned cold. I called, and she didn't pick up. The receptionist said Vanessa had left over 40 minutes ago. Her car was gone from the parking lot. I quietly drove home and saw her car parked in front of another house 3 blocks away. I recognized the address. It was Malcolm's house, Blake's father. At first I thought maybe she's dropping off medicine or helping him with something, but then I saw something I shouldn't have. The living room window had no curtains. And I sat there, in my car, watching Vanessa place her hand on his chest, then him kissing her. Not a kiss of gratitude, a kiss between lovers. My heart shattered. She said she needed healing, but I didn't know how she was healing. First one man, then another. First the son, then the father. I drove away in silence. That night I said nothing. I sat on the bathroom floor, turned on the hot water and let it run over my hands, as if I could wash away what I'd seen. But what water could cleanse a humiliation like that? 2 days later, I tried talking, without mentioning what I'd seen. Just asked gently, "You still going to the center regularly?" She nodded, no hesitation. "Yeah, today I helped an old lady trim her nails. Poor thing, her hands were shaking." I nodded, smiled faintly, and in that moment I knew. Vanessa was no longer the woman I'd loved. I started observing, not in a creepy stalking way, but as self-defense. I regained access to our home security cameras, reset my phone password, and separated our bank accounts. Her behavior grew smoother, like she'd mastered lying. She still came home on time, still cooked, still hugged me before bed, but her eyes no longer met mine. They just skimmed past, as if I were a shadow in our own home. I didn't confront her. I waited, because I knew someone like Vanessa, who'd betrayed me once, then twice, would do it a third time. And that third time was something I never expected. I thought, after everything, I couldn't be shocked anymore. I'd seen my wife cheat with the neighbor, then with his father. I had endured, bitten my tongue, stepped back, and watched. I wanted to believe that if she had any shred of conscience, she'd stop. But what I didn't anticipate was that the next person on her list would be Alex, my best friend of 10 years. Alex was my college buddy. We'd shared a tiny apartment, split packets of instant noodles, driven cross-state to escape Hurricane Katrina. He was the best man at my wedding. The guy I once told, "If I die early, you're the one I'd trust with my wife and future kids." That sentence, now, feels like a curse. I started suspecting when Vanessa began going to the gym in the afternoons. The strange thing was, she never came back sweaty, but she smelled of unfamiliar perfume. Not the kind I'd ever seen her use. She'd also smile at her phone, then quickly lock it when I got close. One evening, Alex texted, "Got something to talk about? Want to grab a drink tomorrow?" I agreed, but a gut feeling told me this meeting would be different. I arrived 30 minutes early, sat at our usual bar, and when I stepped into the men's restroom, I overheard a call from the next stall. Alex's voice. "Yeah, she said she's gonna talk to him soon. It's complicated. He's not stupid, but he trusts too much." My heart stopped. I froze, left the bar before Alex even arrived. I didn't go home. I drove straight to a place I never thought I'd need. A private investigator's office. I gave them names, photos, addresses, and said, "I don't need theories, I need the truth, and I need it fast." 3 days later, I got a Dropbox link. Inside were photos of Vanessa entering a motel on the outskirts with Alex, photos of them holding hands, kissing, leaving room 466 at 10 a.m. when she said she was on a Zoom call with New York clients. I didn't cry, didn't scream. I just felt empty. A cold, hollow emptiness that leaves you too numb to hurt. That evening, I ate dinner with Vanessa like always. I poured wine, looked into her eyes, and asked, "Has Alex called you lately?" She smiled lightly. "No, why?" I nodded. I remembered our wedding vows. You're the only one I trust completely." She froze for a split second, but smiled again. "And I still am." I nodded. And in that moment, not because she cheated, but because she kept lying, looking me in the eye, I knew I had nothing left to hold on to. No love, no trust, no respect. I knew this marriage was over, but I'd be the one to end it. And it would be a bold, clear end, one no one would forget. I don't know what others would do after discovering 3 betrayals by 3 different people, the neighbor, his father, and my best friend. But I'm not the type to smash things or scream into the night. I didn't post long rants online or text our relatives to vent. I retaliated in the only way that leaves a lasting mark, with calculated silence. I started by gathering evidence, not to salvage anything, but to end it cleanly. I hired the investigator for 2 more weeks. Hidden cameras were set up near the motel where Vanessa and Alex frequented. I had photos, videos, even a clip of Vanessa calling Alex from her car, saying, "You'll probably never find out, he trusts me so much." I compiled everything into a silent slideshow, just images and timestamps, no music needed. I named the file "Things You Forgot I'd Eventually See," and then I drafted an email. Subject: "Welcome to the truth, Vanessa." I kept it short, just a list. March 5, Blake. April 26, Malcolm. June 17 to August 2, Alex. I know everything, and I don't need an apology. I just want you to know you can't hurt me anymore. From now on, I'll do what you're best at, letting go. I sent the email at exactly 7:00 AIE Mem on Monday. That's when Vanessa's usually making coffee, starting the week. I wanted it to be the first thing she read. At 9:10 a.m. she called. I didn't pick up. At 9:12 a text. "Marcus, I can explain." I didn't reply. I was busy. I printed all the evidence, put it in a folder, left it on Alex's desk at his office while he was on a Zoom call. I didn't say anything, didn't leave a note, just let the silence speak. I sent a copy to Blake with a message. "Tell your dad to read page 6. That was it. That evening, Vanessa came home, her face pale. I was sitting on the couch, TV off. "How long have you known everything?" she asked, her voice hoarse. I didn't answer right away, just stood up, looked her in the eye. "You slept with 3 people who've all sat at our dinner table, drank beer in our backyard. When do you think I should have known?" And she broke down crying. I was wrong. I don't know why I did it. I was lost. I felt empty. I raised a hand to stop her. "I don't need apologies. I just want one thing, an end." I pulled 2 papers from my jacket pocket, divorce papers already filled out. I signed them in front of her, set the pen on the table. "The assets I won't fight for, you can keep the car. The house, I'll sell my share and move out next week. You can have everything, except the self-respect you threw away." She couldn't speak, just cried. I didn't cry, didn't hurt. I just felt light, lighter than I'd felt carrying this burden for 7 years. That night, I slept in a hotel outside the city. No one called, no texts, no threats, just silence. And for the first time in months, I slept through the night. I moved out of the house on Thursday. Everything fit in 3 boxes, one for clothes, one for personal documents, and one for what I'd thought were cherished memories. Our wedding album, honeymoon photos, a few handwritten cards from Vanessa. I didn't throw them out. I didn't keep them to reminisce. I stored them in a storage unit, like tucking a nightmare into the back of your mind. I rented a small apartment on the 3rd floor, overlooking the city park. No one knew I was there, except my lawyer and me. The first morning in my new place, I made coffee, opened the window, and for the first time in ages I heard birds chirping instead of Vanessa's phone notifications. I went back to work, started hitting the gym again, ate alone, but didn't feel lonely. I had my own schedule, my own sleep routine, my own playlist, no longer catering to anyone, no longer tiptoeing around someone I'd once put above myself. 3 weeks after I moved out, Alex called. 1. I didn't pick up. A text followed. "I messed up. I lost you and my honor. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just hope you know I'm truly sorry." I didn't reply. I'd forgiven 1 betrayal, then 2, then 3. But some things, once broken, can't be patched with apologies. And Vanessa? She emailed after the divorce papers were signed and finalized, not to beg me back, but to say she was in therapy, that she didn't understand why she'd destroyed everything, and that she hoped one day she could apologize without me hating her. I read it, then hit archive. I don't hate her. I just have nothing left to give. A month later, I ran into Blake in the supermarket parking lot. He approached, awkward. "Marcus, I don't know what to say." I gave a faint smile. "Then don't." He nodded. "I heard Vanessa's selling the house." "Yeah," I said. "It hasn't been a home for a long time." 3 months after the divorce, I signed up for a Tuesday evening painting class, an old hobby I'd abandoned because it wasn't practical. There I met Lana, a woman with deep brown eyes and a contagious laugh. She joined the class after burning out from her marketing job. She didn't ask about my past, didn't pry about why my hands shook when I painted portraits. She just sat beside me, mixed colors, and shared the silence. "Fun day," she said. "I think people who've been deeply hurt, when they smile again, that smile is unforgettable." I didn't reply, just smiled, and realized, maybe, I was finally learning to smile again. 4 months after the divorce, on a Friday afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. I recognized the voice from the first sentence. "Vanessa, can you listen to me for a minute?" she said, her voice soft, like she feared I'd hang up. I stayed silent for a few seconds, then nodded, though she couldn't see. "I know I have no right to talk. I know I was wrong, so wrong. I want you to know I've truly lost everything." I stayed quiet. Blake cut contact. His dad moved to Arizona. Alex got suspended from work over the leaked clip at his office. I lost friends, my reputation. But what hurts most is that I lost you. I still didn't speak, not out of anger, I just had nothing to say. She went on, almost whispering, "I'm not asking you to take me back. I just want to know, deep down, is there any part of you, even a small one, that still loves me?" I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, remembered it all, the forgiveness, the sleepless nights, the fake hugs, the repeated "I'm sorry," like a looped tape. Then I said slowly, "I loved you enough to forgive the unforgivable, but now what I love is peace." She didn't say anything else. I heard a long sigh, then the call ended. That evening, I walked in the park with Lana. She told a funny story about messing up her boss's coffee recipe, and I just listened, smiled, and felt strangely light. I didn't tell her about the call, not because I was hiding it, but because it didn't matter anymore. A few weeks later, Vanessa sent a handwritten letter, her familiar hesitant script. "Marcus, if you're reading this, I hope you understand. I destroyed something most people only dream of, a husband like you. I'm not asking you to come back. I just hope you can forgive yourself for trusting the wrong person." I folded the letter, no anger, no softening. I placed it in a small wooden box, along with the divorce papers, a few old photos, and the first letter she'd ever written me when we were students. I sealed the box, wrote on it, "Things that were once mine and no longer are." I didn't burn it, didn't throw it out, just stored it, like closing an old book and shelving it. A year after the divorce, I stood at the grand opening of my own auto repair shop, a dream I'd shelved for years. Lana was beside me, holding a glass of orange juice, giving me a gentle pat on the back as I finished a short speech to a few new friends. No Vanessa, no past, no shadows. Just me, the version I never thought I'd be strong enough to become. And when night fell, I sat on my new apartment's balcony, sipped hot tea and smiled, not because I'd defeated anyone, but because I was finally no longer the one who had to endure. I didn't look back, and I was free.